This is Akashvani. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit. The participants are Pawan Duggal, IT expert, and Om Vesh Upadhyay, anchor.
The Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit kickstarts in New Delhi today. India is negotiating with the 28 other member countries to arrive at a consensus on a declaration document on the proper use of artificial intelligence, the guardrails of the technology, and how it can be democratized. And today, to discuss more on the summit and future of artificial intelligence, we are joined by cyber and IT expert Mr. Pawan Duggal. Welcome to the program, Mr. Duggal.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you on your program today.
So, to begin the discussion, I would like to get an overview from you on the Global Partnership Artificial Intelligence Summit and also what will be the key objectives of this summit.
Well, the world is seeing some remarkable changes with each passing day. Actually, we saw a new revolution on 30th of November 2022 when ChatGPT got to be introduced. And this became just the beginning point of a new evolutionary approach in generative artificial intelligence. Ever since that period of time, we've seen almost every week new developments are taking place in evolving jurisprudence concerning artificial intelligence. It's in this regard that countries are beginning to wake up to find out that artificial intelligence is now kind of technology that's moving at an amazing speed. And if countries are not able to understand the sociological, business, economic, societal, as also legal, policy, and regulatory ramifications of these kinds of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, they're going to be left far behind. That's why this particular conglomeration got started last year called the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. This is the second year, and while France was chairing it in the first year, India has got on to chair the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence this year. I believe that the timing of Indian leading the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence assumes massive significance. Number one, India is the most populous nation in the world. And if the most populous nation in the world with 1.4 billion people is leading this global initiative on artificial intelligence, it has a lot of weight and gravitas attached to there too. Number two, it's actually being led by one of the foremost statesmen of the world today, that's the Indian Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, whose massive foresight on cyber and technology issues has always inspired the world at large. And now with India leading the GPAI, I believe that the vision of Shri Narendra Modi in order to use the constructive utilization of artificial intelligence for societal change and economic growth is going to be seeing a much broader step ahead. Number three, I believe because technology is moving at a very fast pace, countries cannot be in a wait and watch approach. Unfortunately, at the international level, I find that there is no international body that's specifically focusing on artificial intelligence. The United Nations is not necessarily only focused on AI, and therefore this new grouping has come in of the nation states. These are now 28 nation states under the banner of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. But right now, the discussions that are going to take place are going to lead to emergence of commonly accepted principles, norms, or behavior pertaining to the use of artificial intelligence. Countries are congregating, different stakeholders in the AI ecosystem are coming in this summit so as to discuss how the positives and the benefits of artificial intelligence can be used for national growth, for economic progress, for societal change, and also for driving a change of mindset, while also the attention is likely to be made on how to go ahead and regulate the negative consequences or misuse of artificial intelligence per se. There's hardly any activity of human endeavor that's not being today impacted by artificial intelligence. And when this summit is going across, it's going to present new doors, new windows, new opportunity for all stakeholders to come and identify new applications of how AI can be more constructively utilized, but also to come up with common minimum standards of acceptable legal principles, regulatory and other appropriate policy parameters that need to be applied in the context of artificial intelligence.
Absolutely.
Today, countries are still not much very clear in this regard, and a lot of work needs to be done. And it's in this regard that I believe that the deliberations at the summit will be of massive relevance.
Absolutely. And as you talked about legal principles and regulatory parameters, yesterday while speaking on the potential of AI, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw said that people understand the potential of AI and look to the benefits in order to understand the dangers and put certain guardrails, there is convergence on how AI should be treated going forward. So, Mr. Duggal, how does the summit aim to address ethical considerations?
Well, clearly, we have a huge challenge at hand, primarily because different countries are coming to the table with different mindsets. But very quickly, countries have to realize that they will have to leave behind their parochial national smaller visions to come up with a global legal framework where the misuse of artificial intelligence against humanity can be prevented. Already, Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, has already stated that artificial intelligence represents an existential threat towards humanity at large. So one of the key portions of the discussion in this particular summit should be how can we avoid to ensure that this kind of existential threat posed by artificial intelligence can be effectively prevented? How can we go ahead and prevent or regulate the misuse of artificial intelligence? How can AI crimes be regulated? And now with growing preponderance of cases pertaining to deepfakes and other misuse of AI crimes, the time has come where countries need to have a more fresher approach. So I believe that deliberations at this summit will help tremendously in moving forward, not just the agenda of the Indian government towards more adoption of AI, but also the adoption of more common acceptable legal framework principles that countries or stakeholders are agreeing to, which can then become starting points for developing and evolving more effective artificial intelligence jurisprudential approaches and legal frameworks. Also, new applications of AI in different human areas of activity and endeavor are also going to be discussed. How can inter-exchanges and interactions between different stakeholders further go ahead and promote the more rapid adoption of AI? That should be one key thrust area. And finally, how should countries be prepared to deal with the onslaught of technologies like artificial intelligence so as to ensure that artificial intelligence does not go ahead and impede or violate the sovereignty, security, or integrity of any country, while at the same time continues to be a vehicle for the further growth of their national economies and also be an instrument of societal change in their respective societies. That, I believe, is going to be some of the important thrust areas that we are likely to see in the present summit deliberations.
Indeed, Mr. Duggal, as you said, then in this, how important is the partnership, or we can say the involvement of other stakeholders like the industry involved, civil society per se, if we talk about government or international organizations, and more importantly, academia for research and development purposes. How do you see that?
The beauty about this summit that's being chaired by India is that India believes in a holistic multi-stakeholder approach. And therefore, India has gone ahead and invited almost all stakeholders from all spheres of the AI ecosystem, realizing fully well that only governments are not the only players in this AI regulation space. Today, the government and the private sector has to work hand in hand. So not only governmental organizations, ministries, agencies, but also representatives from the corporate sector, from academia, from civil society, from international organizations, law enforcement agencies are all going to be up there, just trying to give their own respective inputs on how AI is impacting their specific economic vertical or areas of business activity, and what further is required to be done so as to address the emerging challenges thrown up by artificial intelligence. These, I think, are going to be very valuable discussions because till now, these kinds of discussions haven't begun taking place at a global level. Most of the international organizations haven't even begun thinking in this direction. So I believe here is a huge opportunity of India to make history. And while it's chairing the global partnership on artificial intelligence, it can effectively also give its thought leadership on how the evolution of artificial intelligence-related legal jurisprudence, societal change experimentation, and economic ramifications of AI need to be further strengthened and further progressed so as to become important elements in the national priorities of every country. So therefore, the deliberations with various stakeholders will definitely go ahead and enrich the deliberations at the conference and will likely to come up with the specific recommendations. Last month, November, we saw the Bletchley Declaration at the AI Summit that was hosted by UK. I believe that the Indian Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit Declaration should build up or make the Bletchley Declaration as a starting point, and then build up and come up with more new distinctive thought processes and give light on new principles which need to be kept into mind by national stakeholders as they go in the direction of to find out their own respective legal and national approaches to deal with artificial intelligence. So it's an important milestone that's happening. It also represents a fantastic opportunity, not just for India, but also for giving effect to the vision of the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, who has led the world by his massive, unparalleled cyber and technology-related vision. He has been one of the very early statesmen who have highlighted the need for the world to regulate the misuse of AI. Only a few days back, he highlighted the misuse of deepfake videos and the world to come up with more effective legal frameworks in this regard. So I believe under his leadership, this Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit 2023 could see the setting up of new benchmarking standards and principles, which could then help not just these 28 plus nations who have gathered under the umbrella of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, but to the entire community of nations at large, giving them substantial guidance on how they can come up with appropriate national approaches, principles, policies, and procedures, which can help them to not just promote the further adoption of artificial intelligence, but also enable them to regulate the misuse of artificial intelligence for cybercrime or for criminal as also terrorist purposes.
Absolutely. And in the word of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this summit is a testament of India's commitment to harnessing technology, particularly AI, for the welfare of people, ensuring that nations of the global south are not the last to reap its benefit. If we talk about AI, how does the summit plan to promote inclusivity and diversity in AI development and deployment also, not only in the terms of Indian context, but globally?
As we go forward under this Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, so it's not just only going to be about regulation. Yes, legal, policy, and regulatory issues should play a very important role in the discussions and deliberations of this summit. But more importantly, how can artificial intelligence and its new applications be adopted in every sector of human activity and endeavor should be a big thrust area. More so in the context of the South-South and more so in the context of digital have-nots. How can countries go ahead and use artificial intelligence as an instrument of ensuring change or impacting change in their respective societies, on reducing the digital divides, and also for purposes of ensuring transformation of mindsets of people as they deal with these newly emerging technologies? I think those are another new thrust areas that we should see a lot of deliberations happening at the said summit. So all said and done, here is a very historical moment which is likely to further see history being made and written. And India is going to go ahead and script this new chapter of history by chairing this particular Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit. I believe that the deliberations at the summit should be of a great starting point. I believe the deliberations should go much beyond the Bletchley Summit that took place in UK in November 2023 and should provide more guidance to nation states and other stakeholders, including the stakeholders of the digital ecosystem, whether it's corporates, whether it's academia, civil society, or international organizations, on how they can adopt their own respective approaches and procedures and processes towards ensuring that the positives of artificial intelligence can be harnessed to the best extent possible, while ensuring that the existential threat that artificial intelligence is beginning to throw up for humanity gets reduced or minimized to the lessest extent possible.
Indeed, with that hope that we will have a declaration document on the proper use of AI and the guardrails for the technology, we conclude the program. Thank you so much for joining us today on Akashvani.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit. The participants were Pavan Duggal, IT expert, and Om Vesh Upadhyay, anchor. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsttalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 928-909-4044.